The conversation begins, and you know what you want to say. The idea is clear inside your mind. But when you open your mouth, the words disappear. You search for grammar, translate from your language, reject one sentence, create another, and finally say nothing. A few seconds later, the perfect answer comes to you, but the conversation has already moved on. This problem is not caused by a lack of intelligence. It is not proof that your English is bad. It happens because your English knowledge is not yet ready for real-time communication. In this lesson, you will learn how to turn the English you already know into clear, confident speech. You will build practical habits for conversations at work, with friends, while traveling, during interviews, and in everyday life. Stay until the final chapter because you will create a simple speaking system that you can follow every day without a teacher or speaking partner. Let us begin with the hidden habit that blocks communication before you even speak. Chapter 1. Stop building perfect sentences. A conversation is not an English exam. Nobody gives you extra points because your sentence is long. Nobody stops the conversation to count how many advanced words you used. In real communication, the most important question is simple. Did the other person understand you? But many English learners enter every conversation with the wrong goal. They try to create the perfect sentence before saying the first word. Someone asks, "What did you do this weekend?" You want to answer, "I visited my cousin and we had dinner together." That sentence is simple, but your mind does not say it immediately. Your mind begins working like a grammar machine. Should I say, "I have visited," or "I visited"? Should I use "with my cousin" or "together with my cousin"? Is dinner countable? Should I say "on the weekend" or "at the weekend"? While your mind is checking all these details, the other person is waiting. You begin to feel pressure. The pressure makes thinking harder. Then you give the shortest possible answer. Nothing special. The problem is not that you had nothing to say. The problem is that you tried to prepare the whole answer before speaking. Confident speakers do something different. They do not build the complete sentence silently and then deliver it. They begin with a small, clear piece of information and add more as they speak. For example, "I visited my cousin." Then, "We had dinner together." Then, "It was nice because I had not seen her for a few months." This is easier for your brain because you are not carrying one long sentence. You are communicating one idea at a time. Think of your speech as a series of small steps. You do not need to jump from silence to a perfect paragraph. Suppose you are introducing yourself at a meeting. You may feel pressure to give an impressive introduction. Instead, use short information units. "My name is Anna. I work in customer support. I have been with the company for 2 years. I mainly help international customers." Each sentence has one job. The first gives your name. The second gives your role. The third adds experience. The fourth explains your work. Simple sentences do not make you sound unintelligent. They make you sound clear. Native speakers also use short sentences. They pause, they restart, they add information later. Natural communication is not a perfect speech delivered without interruption. A learner named Samir once avoided speaking during team meetings. He understood the discussion, but he believed every answer needed to sound professional and complete. When his manager asked for his opinion, Samir spent several seconds creating a long sentence inside his mind. By the time he was ready, another person had started speaking. Samir changed one habit. He began answering with one clear opening sentence. "I think the second option is better." After that, he added a reason. "It will save us time." Then he added an example. "We used a similar system last month, and it worked well." His English did not suddenly become advanced. His communication became effective because he stopped waiting for the perfect sentence. You can use the same method in almost any situation. At a restaurant, instead of trying to say everything at once, begin with, "I would like the chicken, please." Then add, "Could I have it without onions?" Then, "And could I get some water?" At work, instead of creating a long explanation, begin with, "There is a problem with the order." Then add, "The address is incomplete." Then, I need the customer's phone number. During an interview, begin with a direct answer. Yes, I have experience with customers. Then explain, in my previous job, I answered emails and phone calls. Then give a result. I learned how to stay calm and solve problems quickly. This speaking style gives you time. It also gives the listener time to follow your ideas. Your first daily exercise is called One Idea, One Sentence. Choose a simple topic from your life. It could be your morning, your job, your family, your city, or your plans for tomorrow. Speak for 2 minutes, but follow one rule. Each sentence should communicate only one main idea. You might say, I woke up at 7. I felt tired. I made some coffee. Then I checked my phone. I had 3 messages from work. I answered them before breakfast. Do not try to make the story beautiful. Do not stop to replace simple words with better words. Your goal is movement. After a few days, connect some sentences naturally. I woke up at 7, but I still felt tired. I made some coffee and checked my phone. The important point is that you first learn to speak clearly. Complexity can come later. There is another useful technique for moments when you need time. Use a natural opening phrase. Well, I think, let me explain. The main reason is, from my experience, that is an interesting question. These phrases are not tricks to hide weak English. They are useful communication tools. They give your brain a moment to prepare the next idea while your conversation continues. Suppose someone asks, why are you learning English? Instead of standing silently, begin. The main reason is my career. Now your brain has a direction. Then continue. I want to work with international clients. I also want to feel more comfortable during meetings. A common mistake is memorizing very long answers. Memorized speeches can feel safe, but real conversations are unpredictable. Someone may interrupt you, change the subject, or ask a question you did not prepare. Do not memorize full paragraphs. Memorize flexible sentence starters and useful phrases. Learn pieces you can combine in different situations. For example, I agree because I am not sure, but in my case, one example is, what I mean is, the problem is. These phrases help you organize your thoughts while speaking. Another mistake is correcting every sentence immediately. You say, yesterday I went to the market. Sometimes correction is useful, but if you correct every small mistake, you break your rhythm and increase your fear. Ask yourself, did the mistake change the meaning? If the listener understood you, continue. You can review the mistake later. Communication confidence grows when you prove to yourself that you can continue after an imperfect sentence. Today, choose one conversation topic and speak about it using short information units. Do not plan the entire answer. Start with one clear sentence, then add one detail, then another. Remember this: a simple sentence spoken at the right moment is more powerful than a perfect sentence that stays inside your mind. But speaking in short sentences is only the beginning. You may still translate every one of those sentences before saying them. In the next chapter, you will learn how to reduce translation and connect English directly to meaning. Chapter 2. Connect English directly to your life. Translation feels helpful because it gives you a sense of control. You have an idea in your first language. You translate it into English. You check the grammar. Then you speak. This may work when you are writing and have time, but conversation moves quickly. By the time you translate, check, and speak, the moment may be gone. The solution is not to force yourself to stop translating instantly. Your brain has used translation for years. You need to give it a new path. That new path begins when English becomes connected to real objects, actions, feelings, and situations, not only to words in your language. Look around the room. Perhaps you see a table, a chair, a window, a phone, and a cup. When you see the cup, do not think of the word in your language and then search for cup. Connect the object directly to the English word. Cup, window, chair, phone. This sounds basic, but it trains an important mental skill. You are teaching your brain that English can describe reality directly. Now move from objects to actions. I am sitting. I am holding my phone. I am looking at the window. I am listening to English. I am waiting for a message. You do not need to translate these sentences because the action is happening in front of you. This is why describing your daily life is one of the best ways to begin thinking in English. The meaning is already clear. You are not creating an abstract idea. You are naming your real experience. Start in the morning. When you wake up, say quietly, I am awake. I am still tired. I need to get up. I am going to make breakfast. The room is cold. My phone needs charging. These sentences are simple, but they are useful. They connect English with moments you experience every day. Later, while preparing breakfast, continue, I am boiling water. I need a clean cup. There is no milk. I will eat something later. When the same actions happen again tomorrow, the same English phrases return naturally. Repetition creates automatic language. A learner named Maria studied English for 6 years. She knew many grammar rules, but she translated almost everything. If she wanted to say, I am running late, she first created the idea in Spanish, translated it, checked the verb, and then spoke. She began using English during small daily moments. Every morning, she described what she was doing. During her journey to work, she named what she saw. The bus is crowded. That man is talking on the phone. We are stopping at the traffic light. I might be late. After several weeks, she noticed something important. During a real conversation, some of these sentences appeared without translation. She did not create them word by word. She had already used them many times in real situations. That is the goal. You are not trying to think about everything in English all day. You are building small areas of your life where English becomes automatic. Choose one part of your day as your English zone. It could be your morning routine. It could be your journey to work. It could be the time when you prepare dinner. It could be 10 minutes before you sleep. During this period, describe your actions, thoughts, and surroundings in simple English. Suppose your English zone is your journey to work. You might say, I am leaving home. I hope the bus comes soon. There are many people today. I need to buy a ticket. I will sit near the window. The traffic is moving slowly. I have a meeting at 9. The next day, many of the same situations will happen. Reuse the same phrases. Add 1 or 2 new phrases when needed. Do not try to make every sentence different. Repeating useful language is how your brain makes it automatic. You can also connect English directly to emotions. Instead of translating a complicated explanation, name the feeling. I am nervous. I feel relaxed. I am disappointed. I am excited about tomorrow. I am not sure what to do. Then add the reason. I am nervous because I have an interview. I feel relaxed because I finished my work. I am disappointed because the meeting was cancelled. This helps you express real thoughts, not textbook sentences. Another powerful method is to ask yourself simple questions in English. What am I doing? What do I need? Where am I going? How do I feel? What happened today? What will I do next? Then answer in English. What am I doing? I am cleaning the kitchen. What do I need? I need a towel. What will I do next? I will make some tea. Question and answer practice prepares you for conversations because conversation is built from questions and responses. You can also practice choices. Tea or coffee? I will have tea. Walk or take the bus? I will take the bus because it is raining. Call now or call later. I will call later because she may be busy. These small decisions create direct English thinking. One common mistake is trying to translate complex personal thoughts before you have automatic simple English. You may want to express an idea like, I feel uncertain about the direction of my career because I have not discovered what kind of work gives me a sense of purpose. That is a meaningful idea, but it may be too difficult to express quickly. Break it down. I am not sure about my career. I do not know what kind of work I really want. I want to find work that feels meaningful. The meaning remains strong, but the language is easier to produce. Another mistake is using a dictionary every time you do not know one word. Suppose you want to say, the shelf is dusty, but you do not know dusty. Do not stop your practice immediately. Explain the idea with words you know. The shelf is not clean. There is a lot of dust on it. This is an essential communication skill. In real conversations, you will not always know the exact word. Confident speakers find another way. If you forget umbrella, you can say, the thing you use when it rains. If you forget receipt, you can say, the paper they give you after you pay. If you forget appointment, you can say, a planned time to meet the doctor. This ability reduces fear because you no longer believe one missing word can end the conversation. Your daily exercise is simple. Choose one 10-minute English zone. During that time, connect English directly to what you see, do, need, and feel. Do not translate long thoughts. Use short descriptions, questions, choices, and reactions. At the end of the 10 minutes, repeat 3 useful sentences from your practice. Say each sentence several times with a calm, natural voice. For example, I am running a little late. I need to finish this first. I will do it after lunch. These phrases may become part of your automatic English because they come from your real life. Remember this. You stop translating not by fighting your first language, but by creating direct connections between English and your daily experience. However, direct thinking becomes much easier when you have ready-made groups of words. In the next chapter, you will stop collecting isolated vocabulary and start building phrases that work in real conversations. Chapter 3. Build phrases you can use immediately. Knowing a word is not the same as knowing how to use it. You may know the word decision, but can you use it naturally during a conversation? Do you say do a decision or make a decision? Do you say take decision or make a decision? When you learn only the word, your brain must build the rest of the sentence during the conversation. That takes time. When you learn the phrase, make a decision, the words arrive together. This is why phrases are more useful than isolated vocabulary. A phrase is a small group of words that speakers commonly use together. Make a decision, take a break, ask for help, get ready, keep in touch, run out of time, change your mind, pay attention. These are building blocks. You can place them inside many different sentences. I need to make a decision. We made the right decision. She cannot make a decision today. I changed my mind. Do not change your mind because of me. He changed his mind after the meeting. You are not creating every sentence from zero. You are reusing a familiar piece. Consider a common conversation at work. A colleague asks, "Can you finish this today?" If you learned only separate words, you may search for finish, today, possible, busy, and afternoon. But if you know useful phrases, your response becomes easier. I should be able to finish it. I need a little more time. I will get back to you this afternoon. I am working on it now. Could we move the deadline? Each phrase communicates a common function. This is the key. Collect phrases based on what you need to do in conversations. You need phrases for giving opinions. I think, in my opinion, from my experience, the way I see it, I agree with that. I am not completely sure. You need phrases for asking questions. Could you explain that? What do you mean by, could you say that again? How does that work? What happened next? You need phrases for buying time. Let me think. That is a good question. I am not sure, but give me a moment. Let me explain it another way. You need phrases for fixing communication. What I mean is, let me say that again. I used the wrong word. I am trying to say, I do not know the exact word, but these phrases help you continue when your English is not perfect. A learner named Chen kept a notebook with hundreds of English words. Every page was full of translations. He could recognize the words during reading exercises, but he could not use most of them while speaking. He changed his method. Instead of writing one word, he wrote a useful phrase and one personal example. He did not write only available. He wrote, "Are you available? Are you available after work?" He did not write only prefer. He wrote, I would prefer to meet in the morning." He did not write only recommend. He wrote, Can you recommend a good restaurant nearby? After a month, his vocabulary notebook was smaller, but his speaking became stronger. He had fewer items to memorize, yet more language he could actually use. You can create your own phrase bank. Do not collect every interesting phrase you hear. Collect phrases connected to your real communication needs. If you work in an office, learn phrases such as, "I will check and let you know. Could you send me the details? I have a question about. We need to discuss. I am still working on it." If you are preparing for travel, learn phrases such as, "Where can I buy a ticket? Does this bus go to the city center? How long does the journey take? Could you show me on the map? I think I am in the wrong place." If you want to make friends, learn phrases such as, "What do you do in your free time? How do you know everyone here? That sounds interesting. I have never tried that. We should do that sometime." Your language should match your life. There is also a difference between understanding a phrase and owning it. You may understand, "I am looking forward to it." But if you have never said it aloud, it may not appear during a conversation. To own a phrase, use it in several personal sentences. Take the phrase, "I am looking forward to." I am looking forward to the weekend. I am looking forward to meeting the new team. I am looking forward to my trip. I am looking forward to seeing my family. Now imagine real situations where you could use it. A friend says, "See you on Saturday." You answer, "Yes, I am looking forward to it." Your manager says, "The training starts next week." You say, "Great, I am looking forward to it." The phrase becomes connected to situations, not only to a definition. Another useful technique is changing one part of a sentence while keeping the main structure. Start with, "Could you help me with this?" Then change the final part. "Could you help me with the form? Could you help me with my luggage? Could you help me with this problem? Could you help me find the station?" This creates flexible language. Try another structure. I am not used to speaking in meetings. I am not used to cold weather. I am not used to waking up early. I am not used to working from home. You learn one pattern, then use it to express many ideas. A common mistake is collecting advanced phrases because they sound impressive. You may find expressions that are uncommon, formal, or difficult to use correctly. Then you spend time memorizing language that does not help your daily conversations. Useful English is more important than impressive English. "I do not understand" is more valuable than a complicated phrase you cannot remember. "Could you repeat that" is more valuable than an advanced expression you are afraid to use. Choose phrases you can imagine saying this week. Another mistake is writing phrases without speaking them. Your mouth also needs practice. The phrase must become comfortable physically. Say it slowly, then say it at a natural speed. Then use it in a complete sentence. Then answer an imaginary question with it. Suppose your phrase is, "It depends on." First, repeat the phrase. "It depends on," then complete it. "It depends on the weather." "It depends on the price." "It depends on how much time we have." Then ask yourself questions. Will you go out tomorrow? It depends on the weather. Which option should we choose? It depends on the cost. Now the phrase is active. Your daily exercise is called 5 phrases, 5 situations. Choose 5 phrases that match your life. For each phrase, create one realistic situation and say your response aloud. For example, situation. A colleague asks when the work will be ready. Phrase, "I will get back to you." Response, "I need to check a few details. I will get back to you this afternoon." Situation, a friend suggests a restaurant. Phrase, "That sounds good." Response, "That sounds good. What time should we meet?" Situation, you do not understand someone. Phrase, "Could you say that again?" Response, "Sorry, could you say that again a little more slowly?" Repeat the same 5 phrases for several days. Do not replace them too quickly. Repetition is what makes them available during real conversations. Remember this. Vocabulary becomes communication when words begin working together. But even when you have useful phrases, you may not understand them when another person speaks quickly. In the next chapter, you will learn how to listen for meaning instead of trying to catch every word. Chapter 4. Listen for the message, not every word. Someone begins speaking to you in English. You understand the first few words. Then one word is unfamiliar. your attention stops there. While you are thinking about that word, the speaker continues. You miss the next sentence. Now you feel lost. At the end, you remember one unknown word, but not the main message. This happens because you are listening as if every word has equal importance. In real communication, some words carry the main message. Other words support the structure. Consider this sentence. I was going to call you yesterday, but I got home late and completely forgot. Even if you do not understand every word, the important message may be clear from a few key parts. Call you yesterday, got home late, forgot. The speaker planned to call but did not. Good listeners do not always hear every sound perfectly. They use key words, context, tone, and the situation to understand the main idea. Suppose you are at a train station and an employee says, "The 8:30 train has been delayed by approximately 20 minutes because of a technical problem." You may not understand approximately or technical problem, but if you hear 8:30 train, delayed, and 20 minutes, you have the information you need. Your first goal in listening should be, what is the message? Not, did I understand every word? This change reduces panic. Use a 3-question method whenever you practice listening. First, ask, what is the general topic? Second, ask, what is the speaker's main point? Third, ask, what action or information is important? Suppose you listen to a short message. Hi, this is James from the dental clinic. I am calling to remind you about your appointment tomorrow at 3. Please call us if you need to change the time. The topic is a dental appointment. The main point is that the appointment is tomorrow at 3. The action is to call if you need to change it. You do not need to analyze every grammar structure. A learner named Amina listened to English videos with subtitles in her language. She understood the information, but her English listening did not improve much because her eyes followed the translation. She changed her practice. First, she listened to a short section without subtitles. She asked herself, what is happening? Then she listened again with English subtitles and noticed the phrases she had missed. Finally, she listened one more time without subtitles. At first, she understood only part of the message, but she learned to stay calm when she missed a word. Instead of stopping mentally, she continued listening. That skill helped her in real conversations. When she missed one word, she no longer believed the entire message was lost. You can practice with short audio, interviews, simple podcasts, stories, or videos made for English learners. Use sections of 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Long content can be useful, but short sections are better for focused training. Listen once without stopping. After the first listen, explain the message in simple English. You might say, he is talking about his first job. She missed the bus and arrived late. They are planning a trip. The customer wants to return something. Then listen again and notice useful details. Who was involved? Where did it happen? What problem occurred? What decision was made? Then listen a third time and repeat 1 or 2 useful phrases. This practice connects listening with speaking. Imagine you hear, I was not sure what to expect. Do not only understand the phrase, repeat it and connect it to your life. I was not sure what to expect on my first day. I was not sure what to expect from the interview. I was not sure what to expect when I moved here. Now a listening phrase has become speaking material. Another important listening skill is prediction. In familiar situations, you can often predict the type of language you will hear. At a cafe, you may hear, what can I get for you? Would you like anything else? Is that for here or to go? At an airport, you may hear, may I see your passport? Are you checking any bags? What is the purpose of your visit? At work, you may hear, do you have a minute? Could you send me the file? When will it be ready? When you prepare for a situation, your brain recognizes the language faster. Before making a phone call, think about the questions the other person may ask. Before an interview, listen to common interview questions. Before traveling, practice the language used at hotels, stations, and restaurants. Confidence grows when the situation feels familiar. But what should you do when you truly do not understand? Do not pretend. Use a communication phrase. Could you repeat that, please? Could you speak a little more slowly? Did you say Thursday or Tuesday? Sorry, I missed the last part. What does that word mean? Do you mean that the meeting is cancelled? Notice the last example. You are checking your understanding. Do you mean that we should wait here? So I need to send it before Friday, is that right? You are saying the price includes breakfast, correct? Checking meaning is a sign of responsible communication, not weak English. Native speakers also ask for clarification. Noise, accents, bad phone connections, and unfamiliar topics can make communication difficult for anyone. One common mistake is listening to content that is far above your level. If you understand almost nothing, you may spend the entire time feeling confused. Choose material where you can understand the general message. Some difficulty is useful. Total confusion is not. Another mistake is reading subtitles before listening. When your eyes receive the full answer, your ears do less work. Listen first. Guess the meaning. Then check. You can also practice listening during normal activities, but do not confuse background sound with focused practice. Playing English audio while cleaning may help you become familiar with the sound of the language. However, focused listening requires your attention. Even 10 focused minutes can be more valuable than 1 hour of audio you barely notice. Your daily listening exercise has 4 steps. Choose a short clip. Listen once for the main message. Listen again for useful phrases and details. Listen a final time and speak a simple summary aloud. Your summary does not need to be perfect. The speaker is explaining why she changed jobs. She was unhappy in her old position. She wanted more time with her family. Now she works from home. This forces your brain to turn listening into communication. Remember this: strong listening does not mean hearing every word. It means staying connected to the message. But understanding the message is not enough if your mouth is not prepared to produce English sounds and rhythms. In the next chapter, you will use repetition and shadowing to make your speech clearer and more natural. Chapter 5. Train your mouth to speak naturally. You can know exactly what you want to say and still struggle to say it smoothly. The words may feel slow, your tongue may feel uncomfortable. A simple sentence may come out in separate pieces. This is not only a vocabulary problem. Speaking is also a physical skill. Your mouth needs repeated experience with English sounds, word combinations, stress, and rhythm. Think about a phrase such as, "What are you going to do?" When you first learn it, you may pronounce every word separately and carefully. What are you going to do? The sentence is correct, but it does not flow. Natural speakers connect words. They stress the important parts and move quickly through less important parts. You do not need to copy one specific accent. You do not need to sound exactly like a native speaker. Your goal is clear, comfortable speech. The most useful method for this is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a short piece of English and speaking with or just after the speaker. You copy the sound, rhythm, stress, and emotion. Choose one short sentence. For example, I did not expect it to take so long. First, listen without speaking. Notice which words are stronger. Perhaps expect, take, and long carry more stress. Listen again and repeat after the speaker. I did not expect it to take so long. Then speak with the audio. Do not worry if you cannot follow perfectly. Try to stay close to the rhythm. Finally, say the sentence alone. Now personalize it. I did not expect the meeting to take so long. I did not expect the journey to take so long. I did not expect the repair to take so long. You are not only copying sound, you are turning the sentence into active language. A learner named Pavel could read English well, but he spoke with long gaps between words. He believed the problem was confidence. Part of it was confidence, but his mouth had almost no experience producing complete English phrases. He began shadowing for 10 minutes every day. He did not use long videos. He chose short, clear conversations. He repeated the same 20-second section several times. At first, he felt uncomfortable. He could not match the speed. Some sounds disappeared. But after several weeks, common phrases started feeling easier. I am not sure about that. What do you mean? I will let you know Could you give me a minute? These phrases became smooth because his mouth had practiced them as complete units. Shadowing is useful because it teaches things that are difficult to learn from written text. It teaches where speakers pause. It teaches which words receive stress. It teaches how words connect. It teaches the emotional shape of a sentence. Compare these two uses of the same words. You finished it. You finished it. The first may be a statement. The second may express surprise or ask for confirmation. The rising or falling voice changes the meaning. Practice with complete thoughts, not isolated sounds. Suppose you want to improve your pronunciation of a difficult word. Do not repeat only the word comfortable 50 times. Place it inside useful phrases. I feel comfortable here. Are you comfortable with this plan? I am not comfortable speaking in front of a large group. This prepares you to use the word in real speech. You can also use backward building for longer sentences. Take this sentence. I would like to know more about the position. Start from the end. The position. About the position. More about the position. Know more about the position. To know more about the position. I would like to know more about the position. Backward building helps your mouth handle long phrases without losing the ending. Another helpful exercise is emotional repetition. Say the same sentence with different feelings. I cannot believe that happened. Say it with surprise. Say it with disappointment. Say it with excitement. Say it quietly as if you are sharing a secret. This may feel unusual, but it trains your voice to carry meaning. Confident communication is not only correct words, your tone helps the listener understand you. Pronunciation practice should also include common conversation reductions, but do not force yourself to speak too quickly. Your goal is not to remove every sound. Your goal is to hear natural speech and produce comfortable, connected speech. Start clearly. Speed will come through repetition. For example, practice. What do you think? Where are you going? Could you help me? I have to leave. I want to try. Say each phrase slowly and clearly. Then repeat it at a natural speed without pushing. Recording yourself is extremely useful. Many learners dislike hearing their own voice. That feeling is normal. Your recorded voice sounds different because you usually hear yourself partly through vibrations inside your head. Do not judge your voice. Listen for one specific thing. Was the sentence clear? Did you stress the important word? Did you pause in a natural place? Did you finish the final sound? Choose only one focus. If you try to correct everything, you will become discouraged. Suppose you record, I need to speak to the manager. Listen for clarity. Did need sound clear? Did manager disappear? Did you speak so softly that the sentence became difficult to hear? Record it again with one small improvement. A common mistake is shadowing content you do not understand. You may copy sounds without connecting them to meaning. Always understand the sentence first. Know what it means. Know when someone would say it. Create your own example. Then practice the sound. Another mistake is changing material every day. Repetition is necessary. One short conversation practiced deeply can teach you more than 10 videos heard once. Use the same audio for several days. On the first day, focus on understanding. On the second day, repeat sentence by sentence. On the third day, speak with the audio. On the fourth day, say the lines without listening. On the fifth day, use the same phrases in your own examples. Your daily pronunciation exercise can take 10 minutes. Choose 3 useful sentences from a short recording. Listen carefully. Repeat each sentence several times. Record yourself once. Then create one personal variation. For example, original. I have been meaning to call you. Personal variation. I have been meaning to ask you about the meeting. Original. I am not sure if I can make it. Personal variation. I am not sure if I can make it on Friday. Original. Let me check and get back to you. Personal variation. Let me check the schedule and get back to you. Remember this. Clear speech is built through physical repetition, not silent understanding. Now your mouth is becoming more comfortable with English. But another challenge remains. During a real conversation, fear can stop you from using everything you have practiced. The next chapter will show you how to speak even when you feel nervous. Chapter 6. Speak before confidence arrives. Confidence is often misunderstood. Many learners believe they must feel confident before they begin speaking. They wait for the day when their grammar is stronger, their vocabulary is larger, their pronunciation is clearer, and their fear disappears. But confidence usually comes after action, not before it. You speak while feeling nervous. You survive the conversation. Your brain learns that the situation was uncomfortable but not dangerous. The next conversation becomes slightly easier. This is how speaking confidence grows. Consider a learner named Fatima. She understood English well and often knew the correct answer in class. But when the teacher asked her to speak, her heart beat quickly. Her face became warm. She worried that everyone would notice her mistakes. One day, the teacher asked, "What did you do yesterday?" Fatima had a complete answer in her mind, but she said only nothing. After class, she felt disappointed because she had hidden the English she knew. She decided to use a smaller goal. Instead of trying to speak perfectly, she would give one complete answer in every class. The next day, she said, "I stayed home and watched a movie." Her voice was quiet. The sentence was simple, but she completed it. A week later, she added more detail. "I stayed home and watched a movie with my sister. It was a comedy, but I did not think it was very funny." The fear did not disappear first. Her action taught her that she could speak while fear was present. You can do the same by creating a confidence ladder. At the bottom are speaking activities that feel safe. Talking to yourself, reading aloud, recording a private voice message, answering common questions alone. Above that are slightly more challenging activities. Sending a voice message to a friend, asking a simple question in English, making a short phone call, speaking briefly in a group. At the top are activities that may feel difficult. Giving a presentation, attending an interview, joining a long conversation with fluent speakers. Do not jump immediately to the top. Build evidence at each level. Your brain needs successful experiences. Suppose you want to become comfortable ordering food in English. First, practice the conversation alone. "What would you like?" "I would like the chicken sandwich, please." "Would you like anything to drink?" "Yes." "Could I have some water?" Then record yourself. Then practice with a friend. Then use the phrases in a real cafe. The real conversation may be different, but you have prepared the basic pattern. A powerful way to reduce fear is to change your definition of success. If your definition is "I must speak without mistakes," almost every conversation will feel like failure. Use a better definition. Success means I communicated my message. Success means I asked one question. Success means I continued after a mistake. Success means I did not escape the conversation. Success means I learned one phrase I need next time. These goals are under your control. Imagine you ask for directions and say, "Excuse me, how I can go to the station." The grammar is not perfect. A more natural form is, "How can I get to the station?" But the listener understands you and gives directions. Was the conversation a failure? No, communication happened. Later, you can improve the sentence. But during the moment, your job was to get information. This does not mean grammar is unimportant. It means communication should not stop because your grammar is still developing. You also need a recovery plan for mistakes. Suppose you use the wrong tense. "Yesterday, I go to the office." You notice the mistake. You can quickly say, "Sorry, I went to the office." Then continue. Or you can continue without correction if the meaning is clear. Suppose you forget a word. "I need the thing for opening the bottle." The listener may say, "A bottle opener?" You reply, "Yes, a bottle opener, thank you." That moment is useful. You learnt the word inside a real situation. Suppose your sentence becomes confusing. Stop and restart. Let me say that again. What I mean is, I am trying to explain that these phrases give you control. A common fear is that people will judge your accent. An accent is not a mistake. It shows that you learned another language. Your goal is understandable pronunciation. You do not need to erase every sign of your first language. Focus on clarity. Speak loudly enough. Finish important words. Use simple sentences. Repeat information when necessary. Ask whether the listener understood. You may also fear pauses. When a pause happens, you imagine that the other person thinks your English is weak. But pauses are normal. Speakers pause to think, choose words, and organize ideas. Learn to use calm pauses instead of nervous sounds. Take a breath. Say, "Let me think," then continue. A controlled pause sounds more confident than speaking quickly without a clear message. Another confidence skill is preparation. Before a predictable conversation, prepare 3 things. What is your main message? What questions might the person ask? What useful phrases will you need? Before calling a clinic, prepare. I would like to make an appointment. Do you have anything available on Monday? Could you repeat the time? Before talking to your manager, prepare. I need to discuss the deadline. I have finished the first part. I need 1 more day for the final section. Preparation does not make the conversation artificial. It reduces unnecessary pressure. A common mistake is waiting for rare opportunities to speak. You may say, "I cannot practice because nobody around me speaks English." But confidence can be trained before the real opportunity. Answer questions aloud. Send voice messages to yourself. Describe what happened during your day. Practice telephone conversations. Retell a short story. Record a 2-minute opinion. These activities do not fully replace conversation, but they prepare you to use your English when a conversation appears. Your daily confidence exercise is called one uncomfortable action. Choose one speaking action that feels slightly uncomfortable but possible. Ask a simple question in English. Record a 1-minute video. Leave a voice message. Introduce yourself to someone. Give your opinion during a meeting. Do not choose something that creates extreme fear. Choose the next step on your ladder. Afterward, write or say 3 facts. What did I communicate? What went better than expected? What will I practice before the next time? Do not ask only, "What mistakes did I make?" That question teaches your brain to search for failure. Measure communication, courage, and improvement. Remember this: confidence is not the absence of nervousness. It is the ability to communicate even when nervousness is present. However, courage alone cannot make conversations smooth. You also need to respond faster without creating every answer from the beginning. In the next chapter, you will train quick responses using common questions and flexible answer patterns. Chapter 7. Train your brain to respond faster. Conversation feels fast because you cannot predict every sentence another person will say, but you can predict many common communication situations. People ask about your work. They ask where you are from. They ask what you did recently. They ask for your opinion. They ask about your plans. They ask whether you agree. They ask you to explain a problem. When your brain has practiced these question types, your responses become faster. Start with the most common personal question. Tell me about yourself. Many learners freeze because the question is broad. They do not know where to begin. Use a simple answer pattern. Present, background, interest, or goal. For example, my name is Daniel and I work in sales. I have been in this field for about 3 years. I enjoy working with customers and I am currently improving my English for international business. This pattern can change for different situations. At a casual event, I am Daniel. I am originally from Brazil, but I live here now. I work in sales, and in my free time, I enjoy cooking and playing football. During an interview, I work in customer service and have 3 years of experience. In my current role, I handle customer questions and solve order problems. I am looking for a position where I can take on more responsibility. You are not memorizing one answer for every situation. You are learning a structure. Use another structure for opinions. Answer, reason. Example, question. Do you think working from home is better? Answer, for me, working from home is better. Reason, it saves time and I can focus more easily. Example, when I worked in an office, I spent almost 2 hours traveling every day. This structure helps you avoid very short answers. Instead of saying only yes or no, you give the listener something to respond to. Use a structure for experiences. Situation, action, result. Question. Tell me about a difficult problem you solved. Situation. A customer received the wrong order. Action. I apologized, contacted the delivery team, and arranged a replacement. Result. The customer received the correct order the next day and thanked us for solving the problem quickly. This is especially useful during interviews and professional conversations. Use another structure for describing your day. Beginning, important event, feeling or result. My morning was busy because I had 2 meetings. In the afternoon, I finished an important report. I was tired by the end of the day, but I was happy that everything was complete. These patterns reduce the number of decisions your brain must make. A learner named Luis practiced English by reading articles and watching videos. His understanding improved, but his responses remained slow. When someone asked him a question, he had to invent an answer structure in the moment. He began practicing 10 common questions every day. What do you do? Why are you learning English? What did you do this weekend? What are your plans for next year? What kind of movies do you like? Do you prefer working alone or with a team? He did not memorize one fixed answer. Each day he answered the questions differently. For what did you do this weekend, he might say. I visited my parents and helped them with some work at home. The next day, I stayed home because I was tired. I watched a film and prepared for the week. The question became familiar, so his brain no longer treated it as a surprise. You can make your practice more realistic by adding a time limit. Ask yourself a question and begin answering within 3 seconds. You do not need to finish the whole answer in 3 seconds. You only need to start. Question. What do you like about your city? Start. The thing I like most is. Now continue. The thing I like most is that everything is nearby. There are also many good cafes and parks. The opening phrase gives your brain direction. Practice useful response starters. One reason is, the main difference is, in my experience, I have never thought about that. But it depends on the last time what I like most is, the problem was, my plan is to, these are verbal bridges. They take you from the question to the answer. Fast responses do not require fast speaking. You can begin calmly and speak at a comfortable speed. You also need to practice follow-up questions because good communication is not only answering. Suppose someone says, I started a new job last month. You can ask, how is it going? What kind of work do you do? Do you like your new team? Was the first week difficult? Follow-up questions keep the conversation alive and reduce pressure on you to give long speeches. Use key words from the other person's sentence. Person. I went hiking last weekend. You. Where did you go? Person. I am learning to cook. You. What have you learnt to make? Person. My brother is moving to Canada. You. When is he moving? You do not need to invent a completely new topic. Listen for one interesting detail and ask about it. Another useful skill is short reaction language. Really? That sounds interesting. I did not know that. That must have been difficult. That is good to hear. What happened next? These reactions show that you are listening. They also give you time to prepare your next question. A common mistake is practicing only answers. Then you enter a conversation, answer one question, and wait silently. Communication is an exchange. Practice asking, reacting, and adding information. Use the 3-part conversation method. Answer the question. Add one detail. Ask a related question. For example, do you enjoy your job? Yes, I do. I like working with different people, although some days are stressful. What about you? Have you been to London? No, I have not, but I would like to visit one day. Have you ever been there? What did you do yesterday? I worked until 5 and then had dinner with a friend. How was your day? This method prevents conversations from ending too quickly. Another mistake is memorizing answers word for word. If the other person asks the question differently, you may become confused. Practice variations. What do you do? What kind of work do you do? Where do you work? What is your job? These questions are connected, but your answer may need a small change. Practice listening to the meaning, not only recognizing one exact sentence. Your daily response exercise can take 15 minutes. Choose 5 common questions. Give a short answer to each within 3 seconds. Answer again with more detail. Then add one follow-up question you could ask the other person. For example, question: what do you usually do after work? Short answer: I usually go home and relax. Longer answer: I usually go home, make dinner, and watch something for a while. Sometimes I go for a walk if the weather is nice. Follow-up question: what do you usually do in the evening? Repeat this exercise with different questions each week while keeping some familiar questions in your routine. Remember this: quick responses come from repeated patterns, not from forcing your brain to think faster. Now you can begin and continue conversations more easily. But confident communication also requires the ability to explain yourself when you do not know the perfect word. The next chapter will teach you how to stay in control when your vocabulary is incomplete. Chapter 8: Communicate around missing words. Every speaker forgets words. It happens in your first language, and it will happen in English. The problem is not forgetting. The problem is believing that communication must stop until the exact word appears. Suppose you are telling a story and forget the word neighbor. You stop. You repeat my. Your confidence falls because all your attention is now on one missing word. Instead, communicate around it. The person who lives next to me. The listener understands. If the word returns later, you can use it. If not, the conversation continues. This skill is called paraphrasing. It means expressing the same idea with different words. Paraphrasing is one of the most powerful skills for intermediate learners because it gives you freedom. You no longer depend on one exact word. Suppose you forget refund. You can say, I want my money back. Suppose you forget charger. You can say, the thing I use to charge my phone. Suppose you forget appointment. You can say, a planned time to meet the doctor. Suppose you forget crowded. You can say, there were too many people. These explanations may not sound perfect, but they work. Use 4 simple paraphrasing patterns. First, explain what the thing does. A blender is a machine that mixes food. A password is something you use to enter an account. A receipt is a paper that shows what you bought. Second, explain where you find or use it. It is something you use in the kitchen. You usually see it at an airport. You need it when you travel. Third, explain what it looks like. It is small and round. It is made of metal. It has a long handle. Fourth, give an example. It is a type of fruit like an orange but smaller. It is a place where you can borrow books. It is a job like a doctor but for animals. These patterns help your brain find another route. A learner named Noor once needed to ask for a stapler at work. She forgot the word. She became embarrassed and decided not to ask. Later, she realized she could have said, do you have the small tool that joins papers together? The sentence is longer than do you have a stapler, but it communicates successfully. The next time she forgot a word, she did not stop. She said, I do not know the English word, but it is the thing we use to... The other person helped her. Instead of feeling ashamed, she treated the moment as part of communication. You can use repair phrases naturally. I cannot remember the word. It is something you use for, it is similar to, it is the opposite of, it is a kind of, what do you call the thing that, I do not know the exact word, but these phrases protect your rhythm. Suppose you are explaining a problem with your car and forget battery. You can say, I think there is a problem with the part that gives the car electrical power. I cannot remember the word. The listener may say, the battery. You answer, yes, the battery. Now you learned or remembered the word in context. Paraphrasing also helps when you want to express an idea that is too advanced for your current English. You may want to say, the policy created an unnecessary administrative burden that may be difficult. Use simpler English. The new rule created a lot of extra work. The idea remains clear. You may want to say, I was overwhelmed by the number of responsibilities. Say, I had too many things to do and I did not know where to start. You may want to say, the instructions were ambiguous. Say, The instructions were not clear. Simple English is not weak English. Clear communication is a sign of skill. You can train paraphrasing like a game. Choose an everyday object and explain it without saying its name. For example, it is something you carry when it rains. You hold it above your head. The answer is an umbrella. It is a place where you go to send a letter or package. The answer is a post office. It is a machine that keeps food cold. The answer is a refrigerator. This exercise develops flexibility. You can also practice explaining abstract ideas. What is patience? It means staying calm when something takes a long time. What is confidence? It is the feeling that you can handle a situation. What is a deadline? It is the final time when work must be finished. This improves both vocabulary and communication. Another important technique is approximation. Sometimes you do not know the exact number, time, or detail. Use language such as about, around, more or less. Something like, I think it was, for example, it happened about 3 years ago. There were around 20 people. It took something like 2 hours. I think her name was Sarah. This allows you to communicate without becoming silent because one detail is uncertain. You can also use examples to support your meaning. Suppose you say, I enjoy outdoor activities like hiking, cycling, and walking in nature. Even if outdoor activities is new to the listener, the examples make the meaning clear. Suppose you forget the word stationery. You can say, I need some office supplies like pens, paper, and notebooks. Examples create understanding. A common mistake is apologizing too much. Some learners say, sorry, my English is terrible. Sorry, I do not know this word. Sorry, I cannot explain. One short apology may be polite, but repeated apologies make you feel smaller and interrupt the conversation. Use a practical phrase instead. I cannot remember the word, but let me explain it another way. What I mean is, then communicate. Another mistake is switching immediately to your first language whenever one word is missing. If the other person understands your language, this may solve the immediate problem, but it removes a valuable speaking opportunity. First, try to explain in English. Use the other language only when necessary. Your daily exercise is called describe without naming. Choose 5 objects, places, jobs, or ideas. Explain each one in English without saying the key word. Record yourself if possible. Then listen and ask, would another person understand me? You can also take sentences from your own life and simplify them. Instead of, I was unable to attend because of an unexpected family obligation. Try, I could not come because something unexpected happened in my family. Instead of, I am dissatisfied with the service I received. Try, I am not happy with the service. The simpler version may be more natural and easier to say. Remember this, fluency does not mean knowing every word. It means continuing to communicate with the words you have. Now you can survive missing vocabulary, but real communication is more than survival. You also need to express opinions, disagreement, requests, and boundaries in a clear and respectful way. That is where the next chapter begins. Chapter 9. Speak clearly in real conversations. Knowing English words is only one part of communication. You also need to know how to use English for different purposes. You need to ask for help without sounding demanding. You need to disagree without creating unnecessary conflict. You need to explain a problem clearly. You need to say no politely. You need to enter and leave conversations naturally. These are communication skills, not only language skills. Let us begin with requests. A direct sentence such as, give me the report, may be grammatically correct, but it can sound too strong in many situations. Use a softer request. Could you send me the report? Could you help me with this? Would it be possible to change the time? Do you mind waiting for a few minutes? The right phrase depends on the situation and your relationship with the person. With a close friend, you might say, can you help me for a second? In a formal email or professional conversation, you might say, could you please send me the updated document? You do not need to make every request extremely formal. The goal is respectful clarity. When explaining a problem, use a simple structure. State the situation, explain the problem, say what you need. For example, I ordered this laptop last week. It arrived today, but the screen is damaged. I would like to exchange it. At work, I am preparing the monthly report. I am missing the sales numbers from the final week. Could you send them to me before lunch? At a hotel, I am staying in room 312. The air conditioner is not working. Could someone please check it? This structure prevents long, confusing explanations. A learner named Elena often gave too much background before reaching her main point. When she called customer service, she began with every detail of the story. Last week, I was looking online and I found your website, and my friend had told me about your company several months ago. The employee did not know what she needed. Elena learned to begin with the purpose. I am calling about an order that has not arrived. Then she added the necessary details. I placed the order 8 days ago. The tracking information has not changed since Monday. Could you check the status? Her conversations became shorter and more successful. This is an important rule. Lead with your main message. Do not make the listener search for your purpose. If you need help, say, I need some help with. If you have a question, say, I have a question about. If you disagree, say, I see it differently. If you need more time, say, I will need another day. If you do not understand, say, I am not clear about. Clear openings create confident communication. Now consider disagreement. Some learners avoid disagreement because they do not want to sound rude. Others translate direct expressions from their first language and sound stronger than they intended. Use respectful disagreement phrases. I understand your point, but I see what you mean. However, I am not sure I agree. That may be true, but we should also consider, from my experience, it works differently. Suppose a colleague says, we should finish the project by Friday. You can respond, I understand why Friday would be better, but I am not sure we have enough time. Could we finish the main part on Friday and complete the rest on Monday? You are not only saying no, you are giving a reason and suggesting an alternative. This works for many situations. A friend says, let us meet at 8 in the morning. You say, 8 may be difficult for me. Could we meet at 10 instead? A manager gives you extra work. You say, I can do this task, but I will need to delay the other report. Which one should I prioritize? Clear communication includes boundaries. You do not need to accept every request because you are afraid of making the conversation uncomfortable. Learn polite ways to say no. I am sorry, but I cannot make it. I will not be able to do that today. I would like to help, but I do not have enough time. That time does not work for me. I am not comfortable with that. Then, when possible, offer another option. I cannot meet today, but I am available tomorrow. I cannot finish the whole report, but I can complete the first section. You also need language for joining a conversation. In a group, waiting for a perfect moment may keep you silent. Use an entry phrase. Can I add something? That reminds me of, I had a similar experience. I agree with what Sarah said. Could I ask a question? These phrases signal that you want to speak. When you finish, make your main point clear. So, I think the first option is safer. That is why I would prefer to wait. My main concern is the cost. This helps others understand your conclusion. Small talk is another area where learners feel unsure. Small talk does not require deep or original ideas. Its purpose is connection. Use the situation around you. This place is busy today. Have you been here before? How has your week been? Was your journey okay? What are you working on at the moment? Then listen and ask a follow-up question. Person. My week has been busy. You. What have you been working on? Person. I am preparing for a conference. You. When is the conference? Simple questions can create a meaningful conversation when you show real interest. Ending a conversation is also a skill. You can say, it was nice talking to you. I should get back to work, but it was good to see you. I have to leave now. Let us talk again soon. Thanks for your help. I have everything I need. You do not need to disappear suddenly or wait for the other person to end every conversation. A common mistake is using too many indirect phrases because you are afraid of sounding rude. Your message becomes unclear. For example, I was just thinking that maybe if it is not too much trouble, Perhaps we could possibly change the meeting. This is polite, but difficult to follow. Say, would it be possible to move the meeting to Thursday? Clear and respectful. Another mistake is giving long explanations when one reason is enough. If you cannot attend, say, I cannot attend because I have another appointment. You do not always need to explain your complete personal situation. Your daily exercise is to practice one communication function. On Monday, practice making requests. On Tuesday, practice explaining problems. On Wednesday, practice giving opinions. On Thursday, practice disagreement. On Friday, practice small talk. On Saturday, practice saying no politely. On Sunday, practice starting and ending conversations. Create 3 real examples for each function. For disagreement, I understand your point, but I think we need more information. I am not sure I agree because the cost is too high. That could work, but I would prefer a simpler option. For requests, could you check this for me? Would it be possible to change my appointment? Could you tell me where the station is? Say the sentences aloud and imagine the situation. Remember this. Confident communication is not speaking loudly or using difficult words. It is expressing your message clearly, respectfully, and at the right time. You now have many separate skills: simple sentences, direct thinking, phrases, listening, pronunciation, confidence, fast responses, paraphrasing, and real conversation language. In the final chapter, you will combine them into a daily system that creates steady improvement. Chapter 10. Build your daily communication system. The best speaking method is not the method you use once with great energy. It is the method you can repeat when you are busy, tired, or unmotivated. You do not need a perfect study schedule. You need a small system that trains the main parts of communication regularly. Your system should include input, repetition, response, and real use. Input gives you natural English to learn from. Repetition makes useful language familiar. Response practice teaches you to create your own speech. Real use builds confidence and flexibility. Let us create a practical 30-minute routine. Begin with 5 minutes of direct English thinking. Describe where you are, what you are doing, what you need, and how you feel. I am sitting near the window. I need to finish some work. I feel a little tired today. I will make coffee after this. Do not search for advanced words. Start your brain in English. Next, spend 10 minutes listening. Choose a short, understandable piece of English. Listen once for the main message. Listen again for useful phrases. Choose 2 or 3 phrases you may use in your life. For example, I did not realize that. It turned out to be, I am still getting used to. Then spend 5 minutes shadowing. Repeat the selected sentences. Copy the rhythm. Record 1 sentence. Say a personal version. I did not realize the shop closed so early. I did not realize the meeting had already started. I am still getting used to my new schedule. Then spend 5 minutes on questions and answers. Choose 3 common questions. Begin answering each question within 3 seconds. Give 1 short answer and 1 longer answer. What are you working on at the moment? I am working on my English communication skills. Longer answer. I am working on speaking more clearly and responding faster. I practice a little every day. Finally, spend 5 minutes on free speaking. Talk about your day, explain an opinion, retell the listening story, or practice a future conversation. Do not stop every time you make a mistake. Your goal is to keep communicating for the full 5 minutes. This routine is simple, but each part has a purpose. Direct thinking reduces translation. Listening gives you natural language. Shadowing trains your mouth. Questions train faster responses. Free speaking connects everything. If you have only 15 minutes, shorten each section. Use 3 minutes for direct thinking, 5 minutes for listening and repetition, 3 minutes for questions, 4 minutes for free speaking. Consistency matters more than creating the longest possible session. You also need a weekly focus. Choose 1 communication theme each week. Week 1 could be introducing yourself and making small talk. Week 2 could be talking about work. Week 3 could be travel situations. Week 4 could be giving opinions. Week 5 could be phone conversations. Week 6 could be interviews. Your listening phrases, questions, and free speaking practice should connect to the theme. Suppose your weekly theme is restaurants. Listen to a short restaurant conversation. Practice phrases such as, "Could I see the menu? I would like to order. Does this contain nuts? Could we have the bill, please?" Practice questions. What kind of food do you like? How often do you eat out? Tell me about a good restaurant you visited. Practice a complete conversation alone. Good evening. Do you have a reservation? Yes, the reservation is under the name Walker. Would you like to sit inside or outside? Outside, please. The next week, change the theme but keep the same training structure. This creates depth. You do not learn random English every day. You build useful language around situations. A learner named Ibrahim used to study differently every day. On Monday, he watched a grammar lesson. On Tuesday, he memorized 20 words. On Wednesday, he downloaded a new application. On Thursday, he practiced pronunciation. By Friday, he felt overwhelmed and stopped. He created one repeatable routine. He listened to one short conversation. He selected 3 phrases. He repeated them aloud. He answered 3 questions. He recorded a 2-minute message. He followed this routine 5 days a week. After several months, he noticed that common language appeared faster. He could speak longer without stopping. His improvement did not come from one powerful lesson. It came from returning to the same useful actions. You also need a way to measure progress. Do not measure only by counting vocabulary words or grammar lessons. Measure communication abilities. Can you introduce yourself for 1 minute without stopping? Can you describe your morning clearly? Can you ask for clarification? Can you explain a missing word? Can you answer a common question within 3 seconds? Can you speak for 2 minutes about your job? Can you understand the main message of a short recording? Can you correct or restart a confusing sentence? These are real signs of progress. Record yourself answering the same question once a month. For example, why are you learning English? And how are you practicing? Keep the recordings. After several months, compare them. Do not focus only on mistakes. Listen for changes. Are your pauses shorter? Are your sentences more connected? Do you use more useful phrases? Does your voice sound calmer? Can you explain more detail? Progress is often difficult to feel from day to day. Recordings make it visible. You should also keep a communication notebook. This is not a large vocabulary list. Write phrases you needed but could not use. After a conversation, ask, "What did I want to say? What phrase would help next time?" Suppose you could not explain that your internet connection was unstable. Write, "My internet connection keeps cutting out. The connection is not stable. Could we continue this conversation by phone?" Practice those sentences. Now, the difficult experience has created useful preparation. Suppose you had trouble joining a meeting discussion. Write, "Can I add something? I agree with that point. And I would also say, my main concern is, use them during your next practice." Your mistakes and difficult moments show you what to study. This is more useful than learning random advanced vocabulary. You also need a plan for low motivation days. On those days, use a 5-minute minimum routine. Say 5 sentences about your day. Repeat one useful phrase 10 times. Answer one common question. Listen to one short clip. Record a 30-second voice message. The goal is to keep the connection alive. A missed day is not a disaster, but do not let one missed day become 2 weeks of silence. Return with a small action. Another common mistake is changing your method too quickly. You follow a routine for 4 days, do not feel fluent, and search for a new method. Communication develops through accumulated practice. Your brain needs time to recognize patterns, create automatic responses, and become comfortable with uncertainty. Use one system for at least several weeks before judging it. You can adjust it, but do not rebuild everything every few days. Another mistake is studying only when you feel motivated. Motivation changes. A system gives you a clear next action. You do not need to decide what to do every day. You already know. Think, listen, repeat, respond, speak. You can also create an English environment at home without changing your entire life. Set your phone language to English if that feels manageable. Write your shopping list in English. Use English for simple reminders. Listen to a short English recording during breakfast. Follow one clear English channel instead of watching many random channels. Speak to yourself while completing daily tasks. The environment should support practice, not create stress. Remember that communication includes listening, understanding, responding, asking, explaining, and connecting. Do not focus on speaking speed alone. Speaking faster is not always speaking better. A confident speaker can pause, choose a simple sentence, ask for clarification, and repair a mistake. Your goal is not to sound perfect. Your goal is to stay present in the conversation. When you do not understand, ask. When you forget a word, explain. When you make a mistake, continue. When you need time, pause calmly. When your idea is complex, divide it into smaller sentences. When motivation is low, complete the minimum routine. This is how communication becomes reliable. Today, create your own 30-minute system or 15-minute system. Choose a listening source, 3 common questions, and 1 weekly topic. Then complete your first session before you search for more advice. Remember this final lesson. Your English improves when useful language moves from the page into your ears, through your mouth, and finally into real communication. The next time someone speaks to you in English, do not wait for the perfect sentence. Begin with 1 clear idea. Add 1 useful phrase. Ask 1 question. Let the conversation move forward. Fluency is not built by avoiding every mistake. It is built through small acts of communication repeated until they become familiar. Today, choose 1 real question and answer it aloud for 2 minutes. Share in the comments what you will practice. Subscribe for more practical English guidance and return tomorrow to continue. Your confident voice is not something you must find. It is something you build every time you choose to speak.